everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I have a review video for you guys. I'll be reviewing some products from the makeup brand Profusion. Now if you shop at Dollar Tree or Big Lots or any places like that, you have seen this makeup brand before. And they did send these products to me. How they sent them to me was I became an insider for their company Profusion, and all you need to do to become a member yourself is you need to have some type of social media platform, which their main social media platform is Instagram. You have an Instagram where you review products, or like a Dollar Tree Instagram or anything like that, and you have a good amount of followers, I'm pretty sure you will get accepted into this, because I just have like 100-some followers on my Instagram. I got accepted, and then if you have a YouTube account as well, you can definitely get accepted into this program. How this works is you sign up, and then within a few days they tell you if you're accepted or not, and then you get your package in like 2 or so weeks. And the packages I've seen, it comes with like three or so products, and there's different, depending on your followers, there's different ranks. There's 3 different ranks. I'm a Pro Beauty Insider, and it's up to 10K followers, and for my benefits I get exclusive discounts and coupons, new and exclusive items to try and review, early notifications for new items, and then access to events. So I highly recommend you guys checking this out. They're an awesome makeup brand, really affordable products, and really great products as well. If you want to stay a Profusion Insider, all you have to do is review the products on one of your social media platforms, and then you have to email your review to them. So it's super easy, super fun. So if you guys do want to sign up, I will link it down below. So let's get started into this review. So they sent me 3 items. They sent me the Profusion Eyes Kit, and it's basically just like an eyeshadow palette, and it's basically a palette to do your whole face. You get 24 eyeshadows, and then you get 3 brushes, a brunette brow powder, a blonde brow powder, a plum gel liner, navy, brown, and black gel liner. You get an 2 under eye concealers, and then you get an eyeshadow primer. So this basically is an all-in-one palette, especially for on the go. And I like that it's really soft, so if you do take it to travel, it's very soft, and it'll kind of help it from the shadows not breaking. I do have this entire palette on my eyes today, and I have to say I was really impressed. Of course, some of the shadows weren't as pigmented, but that happens in almost every palette you buy. So, have this shade called Dusk To Dawn all over my lid. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, like, taupey bronze shade. And then in the crease, I have Tricky, just a matte brown shade. And then I have some Snake buffed into my crease, this gorgeous kind of like grayish cool tone shade. I love that shade. And then I have some Lights Out, some of the black. The black isn't like super, super black, but sometimes you really don't want your black to be super, super black. So that's actually a good thing when it comes to black. At least in my case, I don't like a super pigmented black. So I will insert swatches of some of my favorite shadows in the palette, but just to let you guys know, my favorite shadows in this palette are definitely Cream. It's a gorgeous like brow bone highlight. These are really dusty and powdery as well, but just tapping off the access, that's not really a big deal at all. Definitely Dusk To Dawn. I love the shade, especially applying it with your fingertips. It really packs a punch. And then this shade really surprised me. This terracotta shade right here. It's this orange shade. I'm sorry, I'm like in the most awkward position right now. But this shade really surprised me. It's actually super pigmented, and this buffed into the crease is gorgeous. So this palette really, really surprised me, and I've been using it a lot lately. I have to say, some of the shades that I don't recommend are Enchanted, that purple shade. I couldn't really get much out of this on my lid. As you can see, it really didn't pack any punch, so that's one shade I really didn't like that much. And then the other shade I didn't really care for was this brighter pink. Once again, its swatch is nice, but when applying it on your eyelids, it really didn't give much. So other than that, I really love this palette, and I highly recommend this. And then for this side, the brow powders. I tried to use the brow powders today, the blonde and the brown, but I have to say I didn't like them at all. It's basically just because of personal preference. They were both really too warm for my brows. My brows came out like reddish, and I don't like that look at all. So I didn't like the powders, but that's just my personal preference. But other than that, the powders are good. I just didn't like the color. And then for the eyeliners, they're not very pigmented, and they're very dry. I mean, as you can see, they are pigmented, but when you apply it with a brush, it kind of like tugs at your eye, and you can't really get much of a good wing. So the eyeliners are okay. I would use these more as like a base to make a smoky eye or something. So that's what I would do with the liners. I wouldn't actually use them as liners. And then the under eye concealers were very greasy. So like I said, I would use these for a base for my eyeshadow, like more like a primer, maybe to cancel out some redness in my eyelids. And then it came with an eyeshadow primer. I did use this today, so far so good. I actually like this. So it was a little watery, but it was good. And then the 3 brushes it came with. I used this brush right here to smoke out my lower lash line, and it worked very well. It's just a flat shader brush. And then you get a liner brush. This brush is a little too wide and big to do wing liner, but it's great for eyebrows, so this is a really good eyebrow brush. And then you get this really skinny, I guess this would be the liner brush, and the other brush is just an angled brush, but I think this is a little too flimsy to use for a liner brush, just because, see how, like, I don't know, I feel like it would move a lot, so I don't know really what I would use this for. So overall, I do think this is a really good palette. I really do recommend this. For such an affordable brand, I think it's a really awesome palette. You get a lot of eyeshadow colors, and you can do a lot with this palette. So I do give this palette a 4 out of 5 stars, just because I do reach for it often, and I love the colors. So I definitely recommend this palette to you guys. Next they sent me was this Correct and Conceal, and you get 3 beauty sponges in here. So this is what it looks like inside. You get, like they said, you get the 3 sponges. You get a big one and 2 littler ones, and then you get the color correcting palette. Now I did use all this stuff today. So first I want to start out with the sponges. I applied my foundation with this sponge today, and I have to say I do prefer the Real Technique sponge better. This sponge is really dense, and it sucks up a lot of my product, but I still like it. I just prefer my Real Technique sponge. Maybe if I like break it in a little bit more, because this is the first time I used it today. But it is really dense still. I did wet it, and it's still wet. So as you can see, it did suck up a lot of my product. I feel like I had to use a little bit more than I usually do with my Real Technique sponge, but I will keep working with it, and it's not a bad sponge, but I would just prefer my other one. And then I used one of the micro mini sponges. Now I have to say I love this sponge. It is super bouncy, as you could see, and I have not used the Real Beauty Blender, like the micro mini, and this is what it compares to, I guess, but I love this. It's so easy to get into my under eye concealers. It doesn't suck up a lot of my product. I really love this, and it just makes the application really smooth, and it kind of makes my concealer look airbrushed a little bit, so I really like this. They sent me the color correcting palette. I was super excited to get this because color correcting is really popular right now. So the 4 shades are light, peach, green, and lilac, and each of them do something different. The light is supposed to neutralize yellow undertones. The peach is for dark under eye circles. The green is for redness. The purple is for veins or like age spots or anything like that. So I did only use 2 of the colors. I used the peach for some of my darker circles under my eyes, and then I used the green for some of my redness on my cheeks. And I have to say it worked pretty well. After I applied my foundation, I noticed a little bit of red does peek through. So after I used this, I feel like it kind of neutralized it and kind of made it more hidden. So I give this a big thumbs up. It wasn't too greasy. It was really thick. I kind of had to dig in a little bit and get that first layer off. But other than that, I really, really like this palette, and I definitely recommend it for really inexpensive correcting palettes. I like this a lot. So I give this whole kit a 4 out of 5 just because I love the micro mini sponges and I love the color correcting palette, but the Big Beauty Blender sponge was not my favorite. So definitely give this a 4 out of 5, and that was the and that sponge is the only thing I really changed out of that. So last thing they sent me was this blush duo, and there's not names on here, they're just blushes. So as you could see, you get a light shade and you get like a darky berry shade, and then you get the brush. Honestly, I did not use this brush. I don't like brushes like this. Honestly, I just use a Real Techniques brush to apply my blush. But I have to say I like these. They're super, super powdery, but they're very pigmented. This light shade did not show up on my skin though. As you can see, that's way too light for a blush for me. And I did put it on first, but it didn't show up that great. So then I topped it with this like berry reddish shade. And I have to say it's super, super gorgeous. I used a really light hand and tapped off the excess, and I really like it. I've been using this for about 2 or so weeks, and I have to say I like it. I love that it's a matte blush, and the staying power is pretty good as well. So I have to give this palette a 4 out of 5 again. I know I keep giving everything a 4 out of 5, but this shade is just a little too light, but this shade is everything. So I love this. And the brush is a dud as well. So that was everything that Profusion sent me. Thank you so much, Profusion, for sending me these awesome products. I really love your brand, and I love the price point. So happy you guys can make such amazing products for such a low price point. So keep up the good work, and I love that you do this program, and it really branches out your company. So thank you so much for letting me be an insider. And I was not disappointed in your products. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed already. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.